Hello.
Hi.
How's it
Hey,
going?
Jan. It's going good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Okay, good. I'm
So,
here at the gallery.
yay. So before you show us around, maybe we
Yeah.
could talk a little bit about some things I want to know.
Yeah, go ahead. What do you
Okay.
want to know?
So
Hi,
I think
everybody.
people may not even know that Galerie Camille exists. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of tucked away, even though it is in a very dense area of Midtown. So
Yes.
tell us where the gallery is, and yeah, start there. And then
Yeah.
what is it?
So it's a 4130 Cass Ave, right here in Cass Corridor, across the street from Slows to Go. Galerie Camille has been around since, I think they started building it in 2010, and the owner is Adnan Charara, and he's a artist himself. And he bought this building, and in 2014, transformed it into Galerie Camille, and then rented out a portion of it to La Feria. Um, yeah, we're a commercial gallery, and I've been here personally since 2019, and but before then I was attending shows here, and I think at that time felt like it was also still like this secret or like a gem because it is tucked away, and yeah, I'm trying to get it not to be not so secret, obviously, but I love this place. It's a beautiful space. If you haven't been here, you have to check it out, because it's deceivingly, it's large. You don't really know how large it is until you get here. It just kind of goes on and on.
Yeah, you would never expect it because the building from the front is so small.
Right. And I remember when they were building it, because the facade is kind of an interesting shape. And I was just wondering, like, what are they doing in there? But it's a great space. La Feria is wonderful. The owners are wonderful. Yeah, it's been really great to be here. I'm really grateful.
So it started in 2019. You said that, I'm
No,
sorry, it started in 2010. That's when they
yes,
started
they
building it.
started they bought it, and then I think 14 they had their first show, I think.
Okay. So
or
what?
or maybe it was sooner. But no, but the gallery itself, I think, was established on the East Coast. I think I'm not sure if it was like Rhode Island or something like that. But so that whole thing started somewhere else, and then they brought it here.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
And so what was the gallery like before you came on board?
I think that it had definitely. I think, it was more, I feel more international, and that's just because I don't have that many international connections yet. So I think that it was a place that you could see, work from artists that weren't from here. And I feel like at that time when they first opened, it was really refreshing. It wasn't like art that, I don't know. Sometimes I would see art and I'm just like, well, I can't relate to that. I don't know. But I feel like they did a really good job, and I think now it's become more locally focused. Local. The people that I've curated, the artists that I've curated, are mostly local, because I think it's important to remember where we are and to represent where we are. And Cass Corridor is such a historic, rich place where creativity, it has such a history. So I think about that, and I want to honor those things. So I want to honor the people that have been doing that for a long time. Like these guys, like the UFO Factory or the Time Stereo guys. I feel like they're not Cass Corridor, but they fall into that same realm of, being prolific and continuing to create their culture through their art and their events and their programs and things like that. So I want to bring that in to here. I think it's important to be diverse, not diverse in the way that you're showing from all over, but also to make sure you're like tapping into the culture of where we are at all times.
So can you say more about the history of the Cass Corridor? I mean, do you have can you give us like a mini history lesson?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm the best person. I think when I think Cass Corridor, I think like late 70s or early 80s, and I think of artists making work with like found objects and spray paint and things that you find on the street. And I felt like it was like a very Detroit thing, because that's kind of what the surrounding environment was looking at. It was very dark and kind of a sketchy place right here for a while. And this whole cultural center was scarier than it is now. So I can imagine that there was a lot to respond to in that way. And so I think I don't know if I see that as much now, as much as I see people honoring that time still. Like they still pay homage to that, because it's such a strong, prevalent thing here, the Cass Corridor. I think you still see people like, I think like Catherine Brackett Luke's or something like that still has shows, people that were, or like Bob Sestak, or people that were really active during that time. But as far as this, and what I think what I'm bringing in, I want it to be, a little bit of everything. I think it's important.
So let's just dive right into talking about the show. So I think we're all right. We got you back. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
You have 3 artists, Davin, Brainard, Dion, Fischer, and Warren Defever. And I've seen them show together before. So did you ask the 3 of them, or did they come to you and say, we want to exhibit together?
No, it was very like kind of by chance. So I had just gotten here in 2019, and there was a black and white show. It was a group show that was a group show that was curated, and they needed more work. So I said, oh, I know somebody that would be great. So I got Davin to bring in a piece. And then he got to meet Adnan, the owner, and I think they had a really good conversation. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great to show your work? And then it kind of went from there. So since 2019, we've been planning this. And it just seemed like a great opportunity to transform this big space and turn it into another one of like a time stereo world. Like most of the work, or when I think of their work, I think of like completely transforming something in like a whole space. So I think like of when they recreated the UFO factory at MoCAD, everything was made of cardboard. I think they really go above and beyond, and I think this space really lent itself to that, where you can be kind of, you can have, when you have a little space, you have a big wall. So I think it just kind of worked out. I don't think, I think had that interaction not happened, eventually I would have been like, hey guys, this would be great. Are you down to do this? But it just didn't work out like that.
It just sort of organically happened.
Yeah, it did. And I'm glad that you asked that, because I want people to know how things happen. And a lot of the shows after the pandemic were, sorry, I'm pacing so much. After the pandemic, had to either be postponed or canceled. And, postponed or canceled. And then this show, we didn't have to do anything with this show. Okay. Something's ready for me at the wine shop. I'll get there later. But yeah.
Go ahead and grab your whatever you want.
Should I go grab it? No, that's okay.
Okay.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
So what does time stereo refer to? Is that what the three of them call?
The time stereo is the record label.
Okay.
But I think it's I think it's more than that. It's the art, the music, the movies. It's kind of everything. And I think it started off as like Warren, Dion, and then Davin and Dion and Warren. I don't know how it worked out, but yeah, they make up the time stereo kind of whole culture. And this shows like an amalgamation of like all of their work and their focuses, and it's pop art, and it's also spiritual, and it's also cosmic, and it's just a mix of all of it,
Well, do you want to turn your camera around and maybe show
Yeah,
us?
let me give you a little.
Yeah, show us some examples. Like who? Yeah. So who? Whose piece is whose?
Right. So this is what I mean too. Is like they made their own programs. They designed their own programs, and usually I make something and it's like super boring for the gallery, but Warren Defever made these.
They just wanted to control every aspect of
yes,
the
like
experience.
they just go above and beyond. Like it's like UFO world. So they made these, and I'm gonna give you like a little pan of the show, and then I'll go around to each one. That's one of this is the Space Banana. This is what's on the cover. This is a piece by Davin Brainard with, his like iconic cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
the blood drop.
And the blood drop.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one of his iconic like images that you would see his work. And this is Warren Defever's work, and Warren's work has been solely focused on like cats and different kinds of felines, and I think like the spiritual nature of them. So you see these like sacred geometry patterns, or you can call it Metatron. I forget what it's called, but this one's gold. It's one of my favorites, and it's sold.
It's already sold.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
And this is Dion's. What is this? Nebula 7-8. So I don't know. I thought this was like Mega Man. This is like his style, which some people might confuse with like a Davin Brainard, but totally different. You just have to have like a keener eye. And here's another Warren Defever. It's another Two Cats. So it's called.
It's called Another Two Cats.
No, it's called Two Cats, and that one's called Two Cats as well.
Oh.
It's so funny. So yes, so that's one of Warren's. And so this show, as you can tell, so usually, like sometimes artists, one artist will be in one wall, but everything is kind of mixed up, and I really like that about this show. It's like they're all together. Elf, and it's spray paint on wood, made with stencils. So the thing about their work is that it's made with materials you can get at like Home Depot. It's very accessible. And then the t-shirt wall. And these are all by Dion, Fischer. And this is like one of the biggest, I think, symbols that he's made here, the skull with the third eye. And this one, You Can Only Trust Yourself, and the first 14 Pharoah Sanders albums. That's awesome. And then Wicked Witch. This one's called Kansas. This is a Dion Fischer. And then we have a few like sculptural ones, and these are Space Cheetos by Dion Fischer.
And Space Cheetos.
Yeah. They're Space Cheetos. And then a big wall of
Pills.
Like either pills or like oversized button installation. These are awesome. And then there's the art bowl of whippets or nitrous thing. That's really funny. So that is kind of part of like this one.
Oh wow! Are those all whippets?
Yeah. These are all whippets from, I think, collected over 2 years.
Wow.
And it's a collaborative piece by Dion and Thelonious T-Bone. The artist T-Bone. So it weighs like 100 or 80 or 100 pounds.
Wow. Did they have to build it on site or
No.
bring it in like that?
Yeah, they brought it in like that. But it's sold. I'm so happy because it's such a crazy piece.
Wow.
So this piece comes with this video. Oh, I don't know if it's set up right now. I have to play it another time, but it comes with the video. Maybe it'll start working towards the end. But, okay, so I'll continue on. This is another 2 by Dion. So that's Dracula and a dragon. And then another Davin Brainard. This one's called Cloud Looking into a Mirror. And then another Dion piece, Other Eye. I really like this one. It's really well done. Another piece that's sold. Thankful. And then we'll go back into this big room. There's another worn piece. With the I don't know if it's cheetah print.
Yeah, I actually have one of his that has like a cheetah.
Yes, I remember.
With the in front of the stripes. So
yeah. Yes.
More Space Bananas.
Yes, more Space Bananas, but these are by Dion. So this is what's on the cover of the show card. And another worn piece, worn Defever. Just red and black. Some of them are red and black, some of them are red and black and gold. And what is this one? I always forget what this dude is called. Guys, what's his name? I have to look. Okay, I don't know.
I think Lay is going to come down and get that one. Is it still available?
Yes.
All right. You heard that,
It's
Leia.
still available. Here's another Davin Brainard piece.
Oh, Slee Stack? That.
Slee Stack? That's his name?
I think so. That's
Okay.
what Davin just typed into the chat.
Oh, okay.
So it must be.
I was trying to look on this thing. Couldn't find it. Okay, and then another one of Warren's. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I always wondered
Yeah, we
the
can hear
sound,
you.
and I'm
We hear you
like,
just fine. You know, it's like
low.
echoey because of the gallery, but we can still hear
Yeah.
you.
And not really, it's just like this big shiny black painting. It's like a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And then the blood spill by Davin Brainard. I really like the texture, or like the look of the texture.
Mm-hmm.
I like the spray in this one. And then it kind of goes on. And here's Live, Laugh, Love. This is by Dion. Another
Oh my
piece
God,
that's
I love
sold.
that.
I know, I really wanted this
So
one
great.
too. And this is their cloud wall that is basically all three of them created, I forget how many pieces, like 18 or something pieces. So
And are
it's just a
those
mix of everybody.
sold all individually? Or is
Yes.
that one piece? Okay.
Individually. They had this funny rule that if you showed up and you wanted to buy all of them, you could, or something. I think it was just like, and then they would take it off, you know, for the for sale thing. I can't remember what they said.
Okay.
It's silly. But yeah, I think these are awesome. I love Garfield. No. So there's that, and then we have one, I think, is this the only cutout piece? This might be the only cutout of the Davin Brainard pieces, which I really love. I really love the cutout pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes me feel, reminds me of like Tom Wesselman, the artist, just like big cutout thing. And another, I messed up those, but this is another Warren Defever. Black with like the natural wood. It's hard to tell because the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And then these are just 4 of Warren's pieces. More of the patterned cats. And this is their merch table.
What kind of things are on the merch table?
So we have a mix of books, CDs, records, patches, pins. You know, this is a book that Davin published a couple years ago. And then just, I think a little bit of, here's a little, like how much everything costs. And then here's another Davin Brainard piece, brick wall. I forget what that one's called. And this is the UFO room, which is really just kind of a little bit of everything.
So why do they call it the UFO room?
I don't know why they called it the UFO room. I thought they were going to call it a few different things, but this is the UFO flag.
Uh-huh.
This is the original UFO flag that they would put up for their events and things at UFO. So I think this is work that they made like throughout the years. Where all that, was made, I think, the last year. But this is throughout. So there's like a little bit of the ones with cardboard. If you remember going to like the Motor City Brewery shows, like that kind of work. And just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they have a lot of works.
They do. They filled the whole space, and I think they still had more.
Yeah, we have a question. Yeah, art's cool, but will there be karaoke? We wish.
I know, I wish.
We can't wait. We have already been talking about having a karaoke party at some point.
I know. For your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Birthday.
Yep.
I do miss karaoke so much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is the space. I think they did a great job filling it. I think they
Absolutely.
did a really good job with the work that they put together. I know they worked really hard. I just think of like the work that is done during the pandemic and how some artists felt comfortable, just like hermiting up and like not going anywhere and just making work. And some were just like stifled without the interaction of people to, I don't know if it's just responding from like experience, but it's just interesting to me, and I'm so grateful that some artists just felt completely like they were thriving during this time. So yeah, I'm just really happy to have been able to bring this here.
So you said that you have been planning the show since 2019. So you had planned a date a couple years out, and said this didn't get pushed because of COVID.
No, this one didn't get pushed. So when I got here, there was already a significant amount of shows that were pre-planned. And I was just kind of seeing those through.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took a while for me to actually get to curate and to actually get to kind of pull from the artists that I know. And but I'm really grateful that I was able to. I think in the last year, definitely, with the programming here. And I think that as challenging as the pandemic has been, just because you can't have as many people in here. It's hard to gauge people's interests. It's hard to plan programming in the beginning, and the fact that we've just kind of tried to figure it out. Whether it's like letting 5 people in, or just, I think that it's worth the effort. I think people are really grateful to have a space, and I think artists, I think we need that. We don't have that many places to show our art or to kind of connect us to people like collectors, or if you're not kind of actively doing that yourself, and that's why you would come to a place like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it's important work. It's not the only way. I think you definitely don't need, a gallery to be an artist, but it helps also,
Absolutely. And especially, like you said, wanting to focus on Detroit artists, it's a way to introduce the community to their neighbors,
Right.
And
Yeah.
That's really special opportunity because I think most galleries probably do focus on, bringing in artists from other places.
Well, it's like the same thing with everything else. How musicians feel like they're not validated until they go somewhere else. It's that same thing. So I feel like if we could support them while they're here, and yeah, they can go out and be amazing all over the world. But like to have that foundation here and to keep artists here, I think it's important to have that environment that is artist friendly, or at least the programming that reflects what is going on here. So I think that's important.
And what has been the response from the community since? Do you feel like there has been a change in the way the gallery is perceived, or people?
That's a good question. I don't know. I try to interview people that show up, just to gauge, what do you think? And I get, positive feedback, but really, like, I get so focused in what I'm doing that I'm just like, I need somebody else to tell me, like, I need somebody else to remind me, like, I don't know. I'm here too often. I'm like,
right.
I don't go to other art shows. I need to go to more art shows, actually. But this is kind of been my social, my most social thing that I would do, which is the one day for the reception, or working with the artist. So that's like constantly, but yeah, as far as like going to art shows or going out there, I don't really do that as, like before the pandemic. It's such part of it's the nature of the position of the job to do that, but because of the nature or of the state of things, it's not as easy.
Yeah, and you're probably just also so enmeshed in this gallery that you don't necessarily have that, like, 1,000-foot view where maybe we'd have to ask somebody else who has
exactly. And before, people would do that like gallery crawl thing. People would go to one and then go to another, and then you'd be able to do that. But I feel like what I've gotten now is that people pick their one event and they make it their thing, and then they go back home. Like, they're kind of limiting their out social interactions. So I asked people, like, so where else are you gonna go tonight? And they're like, this is it. Like, we're not. So I think, some of those things have changed. So it is important to talk to people and ask them, I was always interested in people's comfortability levels. Do you feel comfortable here? Do you feel like, because I thought, if anything, that would be something that would, deter people not to come. But we got really good advice, feedback. We got really good feedback, and I think limiting the attendance is really smart. And I don't know until when, but at least for the receptions, it'll be limited until something changes.
So how are you? I think you mentioned to me that because previously you had to sign up to come during like a certain 2 hours or hour or something like that. I think the show or the show before that. And you said to me that's not how you were going to handle it anymore. So how, if somebody wants to come and check out the art that you're previewing for us, like how can they just show up? How do they?
So they can just show up now. We're doing the appointments just for the receptions because that's more limited. But for the regular gallery hours, it's just anybody can come in. They just have to sign in. And this will be our kind of slow transition and it's something that I've been thinking about throughout this whole thing, but in reality, it always gets slower after an opening, always. So it's like, it'll be really quiet, and anybody that shows up, they get the whole place to themselves anyway, So I think before it was because it was like, oh, nobody's going to come. Like, I don't want to be here if nobody's going to come. So I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly when somebody was coming. So I had to, because it's only me running the gallery. So now it'll be different. Anybody can come in between noon and 5. And I'm just asking people if they want to like give me a heads up, but they don't have to. I'll most likely be here.
So noon to 5, what days?
Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay.
And we have a few events coming up. I have to mention that at some point, so don't let me forget.
Okay. Yeah, you can mention it now. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, you can mention it now, and then we have a question that came in, and anybody else who has questions for Dalia, feel free to pop them in the chat. So what else do you have coming up?
Okay, so this Saturday, we're having our first in-person artist talk that will be limited to 15 people. And it'll be with Davin, Dion, and Warren, and myself. And you actually get to hear their own accounts about the show, which I think is great. And so that'll be like the kickstart to their Saturday programming. That's from 8 to 9. And so every Saturday from then on, there's going to be an event. So there'll be a meditation session the following weekend. There's going to be a performance with special secret bands, guests. And at the very end, there's going to be a closing party with a performance of Time Stereo or Princess Dragon Mom. So yeah, so they have a lot planned. They really kind of thought through this whole thing, and I'm really grateful for that, for artists that that kind of take this opportunity to really transform the space and make it into an experience and not just, you know, work on the wall. It's a little bit of everything. So they put together the music, you know, they have videos, they have sculpture. It just feels like you're kind of in their world for a while, you know, at least for me, because I'm here every day. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. And so if somebody wanted to, on your website, do you have kind of like all of these dates and events and everything if somebody wanted to?
Yeah. Yep. They can look on the website, and we'll be posting on our Facebook and Instagram soon. I made another flyer for that. Yep. So that'll be on there, and then every piece will be on our website soon. We're just waiting for our images for that, so people will be able to buy online. Oh, and usually with our shows, we do like a virtual 360 tour, where you can kind of like virtually walk through and click around and buy pieces. I discovered that like a lot of people that don't live in Michigan really take advantage of that and like to check out the work from all over the world.
Absolutely. I think there's probably
Yeah.
a few people watching right now who aren't local or just appreciate being able to take it in without having to leave the house. So,
Yeah.
because not everybody wants to do that these days.
Yeah, exactly.
What I've always loved about the three of them individually, but then also collectively, is like their art is so accessible. I think that's so important,
Exactly.
especially when you don't have this like sophisticated artist community like in New York or something. Like it's kind of for
Absolutely.
everyone. It's not pretentious. It's not. It's fun. It's light.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's fun, it's light, it could be provocative, it could be edgy, it could give you, you know, it could talk about serious things, but mostly it's pop and it's entertaining.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so this will be up until May 29th. And like I said, every Saturday evening, 8 to 9, there's going to be some live streaming. So it'll be limited in person, but live streamed on our Instagram live feed. We'll see how that goes.
You're getting some practice right now. So.
I know. I know. So yeah, Jen, if you want to come check it out,
I plan
hold a
to.
spot for you.
For sure, I plan to, definitely.
Yeah.
So let's see. What's your background? Like, how did you come to be the director of this gallery? And what was your vision beyond just wanting to book more local shows?
Yeah.
Like, what was your vision for the gallery?
So here, I'm gonna take a seat. So I've been working in gallery since 2004. I don't know, I've always been interested in supporting artists in one way or another. And I'm also an artist. So I thought if I could integrate myself in the business side, that I could understand and do both. So I was working in a gallery while I was still going in college, and then when I graduated. So I've been doing this for a long time, but I don't know. I just think it's something that I don't know. I don't even remember. I think that was just what I wanted to do. I wanted to make art, but I also wanted to support artists at the same time. So I got this job in 2019, and before then, I had left another gallery, and I wasn't really making any art for like 3 years. So I think when I got back here, it was just enough time to get that break, because after you've been doing that for so long, you get a little bit jaded, you get a little bit tired of like the scene, and I felt like there was a time where going to shows felt like work, and it didn't feel fulfilling like it used to, and I don't feel like that anymore. I think what happens is that I'm an artist, and I'm an administrator, but I need the balance of both. I need to be able to be creative, and also, to do something like this where it's something that I really care about. I care about supporting artists and because I feel like if I can do that, if I can contribute to that energy, it's like it doesn't go away. People will continue to value art in places like this. And that's important to me, because I want people to know how important art is. And it isn't just an aesthetic or something that looks beautiful, but I feel like it's, how we communicate, another language, how we communicate. It's medicine, it's a little bit of everything for me, so it's really been important to be in a space where I could practice those things, where I could be creative and also be creating in my own personal art, but also contribute to the creativity of others. So this has been working out, thankfully. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially if you're the only person there, you're kind of wearing all the hats.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's that like balancing act, and I'm really grateful. Recently, I got some new assistants. They're students from CCS that have been helping me with exhibitions. And so, it's like slowly I'm kind of building the support system here. And yeah, hopefully kind of creating that energy where people that are out of college want to come and understand what's happening here, the culture. I think it's really important, especially if you're an art student looking to be a studio artist. Like, if you don't actually go to shows, you might not ever get into a show unless somebody discovers you,
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen that often. So I think it's important. If you're an artist, come to shows, meet the people that run these places, because it really is about that, it's like meeting people and talking to them about your art, and I don't know, those conversations are really important. People, I think, always think that getting into galleries is very challenging. I just think that it takes a little bit of homework. Not everybody's aesthetic is for each place. And when you don't know that, when you're an upcoming artist and you're just focused on the work, you might show up and be sad that somebody rejects you, but it's just because it's not the work isn't for this location. So I just think it's really important to go to different places, to see how different places show art and what their focuses are, I think that's if I could give anybody advice about getting into shows, it would be that. It's just go to shows, meet people, see the kind of art that they show you. That they exhibit. I don't know. I think it's important. I think galleries respond well to artists that also invest in themselves, through, having a website, all that stuff, and your presence on social media, and all of that stuff is important. And yes, I think it's a lot. I think as artists, we already play all those roles for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're market people, or we're all those things. So I don't know. I think it's important.
So we had a question from Cooper. Cooper, the gallery hours are Wednesday through Saturday from noon to 5, right? And you can just walk in during any of those times.
Yes.
And then this Saturday and future Saturdays, the programming is in the evening, after.
So you can come in. We'll be open from noon to 5
mm-hmm.
on Saturday, and then there's going to be an event from 8 to 9. So there'll be, I think there's an event right now for the first event, which is their artist talk on Saturday.
And so
you don't have to make an appointment for the daytime on Saturday, but at 8.
You have to reserve because you're limited people coming in.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's not a huge space. I mean, it's a medium size, it's not huge.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's a comfortable, low capacity. Ha!
Hey, is that
That's Dion.
Yeah. And then we had another question. Are you familiar with Collected Detroit? Is that another gallery space?
Yes, that's another gallery. I've never been there.
Okay.
I know that the owner of this gallery knows them, but I'm not familiar with the work as much. I just know one of their artists, Aijana Cortez, who's a friend. But I've never been there. Yeah.
But I think most people, I think a lot of the people watching, because I recognize a lot of names from people that, watch my interviews every Wednesday who maybe just are not part of the art world at all. So this is the whole other part of Detroit that people don't even know exists. Your gallery is tucked away. There are quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And if you just take some time to, pop in and learn more about this other part of the city that, people are doing really cool things. So
yeah,
everybody go support Collected Detroit, support Galerie Camille, and, there's Public Pool in Hamtramck, and there's 50 others that I'm not even naming that are just small and doing interesting things. And
absolutely. It's so important too. I think that one of the things that I hear about Detroit is the creative community is so tight. You know, everybody there was such a well, not maybe a small, but I've always felt like it was tight, and it's getting like we're getting more galleries and it's growing, but it's pretty tight knit. You know, like for the last show, I borrowed pedestals from the artist market, from the Scarab Club. You know, like it was a mix of all different kinds of artists from different galleries. So I really like that about our community. It's very different. I don't know if you were to go to New York or a bigger place that you would get that feeling. You know, I'm sure it is, but it's just different. You know.
Detroit is, I always call it the village of Detroit because it really is more like a village kind of vibe, more of like a community.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. So thank you, Jan, for asking me to do this.
Thanks, Dalia, for showing us around. So,
Yes.
So Passport to Infinity is the show.
Yes.
And I'll tag all of the artists, and so you guys can all go to their Instagram pages and follow them. I'll tag Dalia because she is an amazing artist herself. The show goes until May 29th, and you can see it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday of any week from 12 to 5. You can come in, and then if you want to participate in the special programming, it's on your website, and there'll be maybe virtual tour on the website pretty soon as well.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jan. And congratulations, everything that you're doing. I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much for featuring us. It means a lot. It really does. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much. Everybody have a good night.
Yay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Come visit us.
Yep. Come visit Galerie Camille. Bye.
Yes.